Hi, everybody, and welcome. Deborah Lynn here in the studio. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm got canvas pad here. Now, you might be wondering, what is canvas pad? Never seen this, never heard of it. It is actual canvas, but it's been treated with like some kind of watercolor ground or like watercolors form of gesso. It's to protect the canvas so that the wet media cannot go through the canvas. It stays on top of the surface, and we will have to kind of be dealing with puddles of water when we're working with such a substrate. So I'm going to show you how I go about doing that and talk to you about a few other things along the way here. And right now I am just putting down random shapes. This is how I typically will start my intuitive process. Again, I'm not working from images or anything. I pull information that I've generated in my own mind's eye, and then I create my paintings that way. That's how my aesthetic is for what I do. And I find it a lot more relaxing. There's no stressing over trying to make something look just like a picture that is maybe sitting to the right of you or to the left of you. I don't have to stress about that. So right now, I've got some of those magentas down, and I've got some green apatite genuine. That's the green color there. And the blue was like an endothrone blue. And again, when it gets into the magentas and those purpley colors of those flowers, I don't have all the names for all of them because I'm using a multitude all at one time. I'm kind of dipping that brush into several colors and then taking it to the painting. So it's a mixture. I'm kind of mixing on my paintbrush. So now you're seeing me bump edges. Now, I'm seeing a lot of puddles happening here, and I know that I've got to control this. And I do that by putting this one-ply toilet paper down, and this grabs all that excess water. But the more important thing is it's creating my first foundational layer. And on that layer is what I will build from, okay? So I'm going to pull that off. And this, what you see here, is kind of a ghost image of what will be the foundation. And this is what I build on top of. And I will do this in several layers like this within this painting. You might be wondering, well, why don't you just paint the flower from the get-go? Well, just like an oil painter. When they do an oil painting, a lot of times they will put the shapes down first, and then they'll build on top of that. And at the very end, they have their finishing, touches they put to it. That's kind of like the surface level painting that they do at the very end. Well, same thing's going to happen here in my process, but I'm using watercolor. It's not exactly the same because I'm not working with oils. I am working with watercolor, but I am building on foundations of color, and I have to control the water that is either on my canvas or on my paper. So I have got to back it off with this one-ply tissue. Now, the one-ply tissue is toilet paper. It's very, very thin, the thinnest brand you can find, the one that doesn't have the quilt, because quilts on tissue can transfer into your pigment and leave an imprint. We don't want that on our flowers. So just keep that in mind. You could, test out whatever you have and see if it works. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, then, try to find that one-ply tissue. It's not always easy for some areas. I'm finding out some women are struggling to find that. So as you can see, I did splash in some dirty water, and now I'm also bringing a little bit of that dirty water over onto the side there, and I'm kind of building that up. It's kind of shadow marks of what's going to happen in the background. Now, the thing is, I'm going to end up putting more tissue down, and it's going to lift a lot of it also, because again, this is not sinking into this canvas. It's sitting on the surface. So when I do put that tissue down, it does pick a lot of stuff up. So it's going to take quite a few layers to get this process done. But this painting was done. This is real time that you're watching it. I didn't speed it up or anything. So you're watching everything in its entirety. So this is a relatively quick painting. It says 16 by 20. And so again, I'm going after the puddles. And as you can see, it calms everything down. But I keep building, okay? And why I do this is that there's interest in the background. It's not just surface level. It's not the finishing touch levels, like the last 2 layers before a painting is done. That's not what my art is. My art has a lot of layers. So if you're wondering how do I achieve what I do, this is the way I do it a lot, is these layers. You very rarely will find me paint something in just one layer. I just don't. There's multitudes of layers. And now this is just some random mark making. This is all going to be kind of stuff that's kind of playing out in the background. I'm not worried about the shapes or what it is really. This will all kind of be quieted down, and ghost images of it will be made with that tissue paper being put on top of it. So again, now I'm going in again and grabbing more of those puddles, also picking up pigment. We want our paintings to be interesting. They need to capture us from afar. They need to be interesting up close. And the composition needs to also make somebody stay locked in instead of their eyes escaping from the piece and they're on to somebody else's painting. So there's important things that you have to kind of assess as you're painting. You want to be want to be cognizant of your composition. You need to have that in mind. You know, it's not something you can ignore and just hope you get it right. You do need to think about scale and balance and all that stuff. Like right here, I noticed this bottom right quarter is just needs weight. It needs volume, it needs color, and that's what you see me doing. I'm bringing in that color in that bottom section and building that up to balance that out. Now, as you can see, the whole left-hand side and the top is all white. That I'm okay with that light being around the painting and through the painting. So there's a breathability to the painting. It doesn't feel like the light is trapped. It can escape. So you don't want to close in your light, okay? And you want to make sure that the light can go through all your stems and branches and all that stuff. You need to be able to retain white spaces. Very important, especially when you're doing like a field of flowers like this. It's important. If you just have it just nothing but pigment, it just feels confined and it's like choked off, and it's just not comfortable. Now here I've grabbed a very unique brush that I actually saw somebody use this. Another artist, her name is Jane Davenport. She has her own paint line, and she's got some art materials and stuff like that, and she's out of Australia. And I saw her use this paintbrush, and I'm like, ooh, I want to get that paintbrush. So I did get this paintbrush from JaneDavenport.com. Right now, this brush is out of stock. But I bet you could probably find something just like this in the makeup department, okay? These are really compact, fine brush like you would use to blend your makeup. That's what these are. That they're like makeup brushes, but it kind of will do some kind of cool things. I was able to make some tulips with these before, and as you can see, I'm having some fun creating some shapes here with them. It's just something different to try. So again, right now, I did check her website right now. Those brushes are out of stock, but you could probably find the same thing in your makeup department. Those really compact blending brushes. And this one's the shape of like a toothbrush. So I guess there's different shapes. You could use those too. So it's always looking for those different things that you can use to put your pigments down, or maybe scraping into your paint or etching into your stuff. You know, all those things, we look for those things that we can use as tools. We don't always have to use the typical stuff. We can use things that are a little bit different than the norm, and they create interesting shapes and textures. So you did see that I did flick down a bunch of the splashes there, and I do that so it also helps the eye travel around. So it helps with the composition and pulling things together. Right now I'm just loosening a couple of these edges up and bumping some stuff, but that's it, you guys. This is pretty much my painting. I hope you enjoyed this. In the meantime, please be safe out there in this crazy world. Stay healthy and safe, and God bless. I'll let you finish watching out to the very end. Bye for now.